Our mission is to encourage and uplift women to birth their ministry and accomplish their mission. Together, we are the difference in action for positive change. Two humanitarians, Drs. Anita Mckaney and Tomesha D. Walker, are changing the world by giving voice to women around the globe, encouraging authors, marriages, mothers and wives to live out their ministry on mission. Join us Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and spread the word as we reach out our goal of making a difference in the lives of 200,000 women. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We are back at Ministry on Mission with another fabulous guest. Thank you so much for being a part of this ministry. Thank you so much for watching. We are excited, Dr. Tomesha and I, to be here once again with you. We thank you for your participation, and always remember, if you ever have any questions about any of our guests, if you have any feedback, if you want to know more about them, make sure you're following us on our social media channels. Go to ministryonmission.com to watch previous episodes, and make sure you hashtag Ministry on Mission in your comments. Dr. Tomesha, how are you today?
Thank you so much for having me here today with you. Of course, we're having a ball, and we have with us Dr. Michelle Yan. Okay, guys, so let me just tell you right now, I am so excited to have Dr. Michelle on. Before I even go into her bio, my gosh, she is an amazing woman that I have the opportunity to meet through another friend of mine, and have had an opportunity to see the work that she is doing within families, within the community. I am just amazed at the changes that I've seen, not only in others, but in my own life. So I get a chance to bring to you all someone who has helped me with the mission of alignment, helped me to adjust to make sure that I am in a healthier space. So, without further ado, I get to share with you Dr. Michelle Yan. So, she is someone who actually functions right now in chiropractic medicine with her husband. They have a wonderful establishment that she's going to tell you all more about, and she is able to support and assist and specialize in helping pre and postnatal mothers to make sure that they have the correct alignment and health for themselves, not only themselves, but also their families. She's trained in multiple techniques and has had the opportunity to see the world from many different points of view because of her cultural background. I'm so excited to introduce to you, maybe to some, but encourage others to make sure that you take the time to meet our amazing guest today, Dr. Michelle Yan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Dr. Tomesha. I want to thank both of you. I'm so excited to be part of your Ministry on Mission, and I'm super excited to share more information about myself and my ministry.
Amen. It's so wonderful to have you here. Dr. Tomesha, please give us a bio. Let us know more about Dr. Yan and what her mission and ministry is.
So predominantly, she has the amazing opportunity to, again, work with families. So what we have seen majority of the time with the awesome events and all the amazing things that she's been able to do is that she has been able to grow and mature people in their understanding of their bodies and in multiple techniques. So what I am going to do in this stage and in this season is allow her to share just a little bit about her training, the schools that she's gone to, and the methods and techniques that she currently uses to support the families and individuals that she works with.
Well, Dr. Tomesha and Dr. Anita, I graduated, gosh, it seems like so long ago. Time goes by so quick, but I graduated in the year 2000 from the National College of Chiropractic in Lombard, Illinois, just about 20 miles west of downtown Chicago. So we had lots of training there. And then my husband and I decided to move a little closer to home. He's originally from the Youngstown area, and I'm from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. So we thought it would be really important to bring family chiropractic and pregnancy chiropractic to the greater Cleveland area. We are a lot closer to home, which was so important for us, especially as we started a family. But our practice is in Westlake, Ohio, and we pretty much, as Dr. Tomesha mentioned, we help. God has given us these amazing bodies to work with, and we just want to be a part of helping pregnant moms with their pregnancies, and hopefully get them in the best alignment possible, helping alleviate any discomforts, helping them, obtain a better position for birth. And if we can hopefully help them get and obtain that optimal positioning, they can have an easier, safer delivery, which I think is so important. I know that for me especially, God had, I think his most amazing creation is, of course, man. So women and men. And if we could help women with their birth and just bring that baby into the world with an amazing start, I think so. Their optimal, health is ideal for the children right off the get-go. We have adjusted, or I have adjusted my children from birth. So it's such an amazing thing to be able to help women and children with pregnancy and chiropractic.
I think that's wonderful. Cleveland Chiropractic Associates is an incredible establishment where many, many women have been able to get the back adjustments that they needed and prepare for pregnancy better. So you said that you did lots of schooling to prepare for this role. How was it when you first began? Like, as you first began being a chiropractor, were you nervous? Was it something that you just always wanted to do, so you weren't nervous? But how did you feel first initially coming into this role?
Dr. Anita, at first, I think with any type of career, of course, I was so excited. God gave me this ability to heal with my hands and my techniques. As Dr. Tomesha mentioned, we specialize in pregnancy. So both my husband and I trained in the Webster Technique, which is a prenatal technique specifically just to help balance and, again, balance the alignment, balance the pelvis, and get the baby and mom in the best position. But with all that training, at first it was, yes, I think thank goodness through the Lord and through everything that he's been with me for throughout my career, I think no matter if there's hardships or not, that we were able to get through it. Again, we aren't from the greater Cleveland area. My husband's from Youngstown, I'm from Canada. So at first it was a little intimidating to start our practice, to kind of, I guess, build from ground zero. We really didn't know anybody in the area. We just knew that we were passionate about chiropractic, passionate about our work, and that we had the faith in us and God. We had the faith in God to help us through all the adversities. So yes, it was a little bit at first, but now we joke around that whenever we go anywhere, we see amazing people that we've come across through our work and through our profession. So it's been so rewarding. But at first it can be, but we know God got us through it.
Amen. The maker of the body can help you to adjust what needs to be adjusted so that we can have the longevity and livelihood that we need. Well, in my background research of looking up the things that you're doing and how you're serving the community in this way, I also noticed that you've had experience being an adjunct professor, which I love education myself. And so I noticed that you were also able to teach some at Lakeland and Lorain County colleges. Tell us a little bit about that. How was that experience? And was that like out of the box for you, or did you like really enjoy it?
Dr. Anita, I loved it. I'm definitely the talker of the family, as everyone. Dr. Tomesha knows this, but no, it was amazing. When we first started off practice and we were building our practice, I had a little bit of extra time as we built our practice. So I came across this opportunity to be an adjunct faculty, and I taught anatomy and physiology as well as biology at both those colleges. And I really believe that, again, God led me into that profession along with chiropractic as I was building it. I really learned so much. I'm not, I guess, a professor by trade. I learned, I got my doctorate through chiropractic, and then I was able to teach that way. But I think I understood my students, and I understood that it takes hard work and it takes perseverance, but you can get through anything if you have passion for what you do. So I was really excited. I had a great time. I do miss it a little bit. I always feel like I'm still educating my patients all the time, but I do miss that part of it. One of the most, I think, special times was when I was at Lorain County Community College. I was able to bring some of my students into their cadaver lab, and I was able to show them what an amazing creation God has created in our bodies. I got to show them muscles and joints and different organs in the nervous system, and it was really, really such an amazing learning experience for all of us.
Oh my gosh, I remember looking at those cadavers when I was in nursing school and like really just understanding how incredible and intricately we are created. I'm telling you, it really is a mind-blowing experience. And I'm hearing you talk a lot about words like alignment and putting things and correcting errors and making sure that our bodies are functioning properly. It sounds a lot like spiritual things as well. Have you noticed that there's just a great coming together of ideas as far as like spiritual care for your patients as well as physical care? Have you had opportunities to talk to patients about that, or is it something that you've noticed?
Absolutely. My husband and I have these conversations all the time about how I feel like chiropractic has been our ministry, but also it's so, as you said, parallel to the ministry that the Lord has given us as well. Because yes, He created our bodies, but our, in our profession of chiropractic, our major ministry, I guess, is to exactly use our hands or other techniques to realign the joints, the bones of the body, as well as calming down ligaments and muscles, and allowing the body to heal and allowing the body to be at its optimal function and help everyone feel better. And I feel like exactly when you have that parallel to ministry of spirituality, you when you're aligned with your spirituality, I feel like you also have a better understanding and a better way of healing. I've been very lucky, as you mentioned, to work with a lot of people, a lot of women, especially because of what I do with pregnancy. And it's amazing as we learn about each other and as I'm able to help them, I've learned a lot exactly about the parallels of spirituality as well as healing. And they go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you have to really, to have a full concept of healing, I think you have to also want to get better, but also in your mind and believe that you're going to get better.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like healing is not just physical, right? But it's also mental, it's also spiritual, but it's all healing. I love that point so much. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much for how you've allowed God to use your hands. You know, the Word of God speaks a lot about bones, actually, especially like one of the most popular passages is like Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel 37, where this prophet of the Lord sees a vision about how these bones were dry and just laying around. And all of a sudden, you know, God tells him to speak to these bones, and like they begin to come together and they begin to become aligned. And they like come together, and the winds blow on the bones and they get flesh and they become a standing army. And I always think about that when I think about chiropractic medicine, how the bones come together and how like we're able to bend and move and have the flexibility that we need. I remember when I was pregnant and I had issues with like sciatic nerve pain, and that was horrendous. It was horrible. And I just remember how I was thinking, man, I should have got adjusted. I should have like went to see someone. It was crazy. And then just having those thoughts and thinking about how some people are afraid, you know, to go and see a chiropractor. They think that, oh my gosh, what's all that breaking and bending and snapping, and is that safe? What would you tell somebody who's like totally afraid to go to a chiropractor, has never been? What are the benefits, and why should we not be afraid of getting adjusted?
Great point. And I love that passage, what you just mentioned about Ezekiel. So that's great. But yes, we always tell people that when done properly by a trained chiropractor, chiropractic is extremely, extremely safe. We work on newborns. I mentioned that the most amazing, I think one of the most, or two, I guess I shouldn't say one, because my daughter might not like this, but one of the most amazing moments of each of my children's births was that right after they were born, my midwife, brought him or her to me, and I was able to adjust them, to nurse and adjust them. And as you said, everything is, or at least in our office, and especially in chiropractic as a profession, we are trained to work with the joints and the nervous system. So everything usually is very, very gentle, very safe. We apply very light pressure, especially on children. And when you work with pregnancy specifically, there's a lot of discomforts already, and there's a lot of movement because of relaxin and the hormones. So we want to be extremely, extremely gentle. But yes, when done properly by a trained chiropractor, it is extremely safe. And a lot of the times, some of the women that come into our office are like, oh, wow, I didn't expect to not hear that crazy popping or the loud crunches. And I said, yes, especially in pregnancy chiropractic, everything is super gentle and safe.
Yes. Okay. So I have to say for sure, because I have been seeing Dr. Yan now for probably almost a year, if not a little over, and all the cracking and popping, this woman has adjusted me beautifully, and I have not had to hear that. And I will tell you, I have felt the difference. Like, I even realize when I'm standing or seated for a long period of time, like, she'll talk you through the way you need to adjust yourself to be healthier continuously. So not just while you're in her office, but actually throughout your day. And I can hear her voice when she'll be like, okay, you need to make sure you shift like this. Okay, you want to make sure you stand like this. And she reminds me and she helps me to know exactly how to be healthier. So letting others know, you as a teacher, you were also teaching anatomy and biology and those items, right? And so it was very interesting, even as Dr. Anita was talking about Ezekiel. And one of my favorite things out of that passage is with God being so intentional with his words. And he talks about the bones, and then he talks about the sinew, and then he talks about the skin. And I was just like, I remember the first time really digging into that, no pun intended. I was just like, Lord have mercy. That you had to be that specific about each of those things. And so you talk a bit about on your website how you all specifically deal with certain types of pain. And I don't know that people really think about those things when it comes to chiropractic medicine. So I do want to share a little bit of that and the optimal wellness that you all focus on when you're working with patients. And so if you guys have never thought about this, they help with things like hip pain, shoulder pain, jaw pain. Like, to me, most of the time when you hear people talk about chiropractic medicine, it's your back. Like, it seems like most people focus on that area, but you guys do the entire body, head to toe, which I have benefited from. And so things like, as you spoke towards pregnancy, pain and relief, and just pain even after accidents, as well as various ailments, and using different types of modalities. So I would love for you to share a little bit about that and how you use class 4 lasers and microcurrents, and just how you integrate those types of treatments, even dry needling that a lot of people might not know about, to help support individuals' health. So I am so excited that you get to share about this genre of support and ministry, because I do feel like, just like Dr. Anita said, you guys kind of have a bit of a rap. Like, people are always going towards, oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, it's going to be really loud and crack. And I wonder if it's almost akin to how some people are nervous about dentists, right? Because they don't want to hear the drilling and things like that. But it's beautiful what I see and hear in your office on a regular basis. The families coming through from infants right to adults. And I am not hearing people crying and screaming all the time. I'm telling you guys, people are laughing and smiling and enjoying themselves. And I love that. I love that. Okay. So, Dr. Michelle, back to the specifics though, right? Right. So those extra modalities that you're able to help people with, what are some of those? Because I want our audience to be able to know about all of those things as well.
No, thank you for that, Dr. Tomesha. So yes, so with chiropractic, we want to help everyone heal naturally, but a lot of times without the use of drugs or surgeries when they can. But those modalities that you mentioned, exactly, what happens is that sometimes you can be healing and you can be slowly feeling better, but it's taking a little longer in time, or it's something a lot more acute. So for example, if someone was involved in a car accident, or one of your children fell down and really hurt their knee or their back. I'm going to start with each one of them, explain a little bit. So with the class 4 laser, it is basically a therapeutic laser. It does not hurt. You don't feel anything. You just feel a little bit of warmth. And actually, I can share a personal story. As a mother, and you all know this, we are always constantly running around. We're always on the go. We're always trying to do 100 things at once. And at the middle of May this year, I was in a hurry running to my daughter's classroom to meet with her teacher from my office. And I accidentally forgot that there was a little concrete little barrier on the ground, and I literally tripped and flew very gracefully, I must say. Hopefully no one saw this, but I did injure my rotator cuff on my right shoulder. And I remember going, oh dear, I am going to have to pick up the kids, run to the office, and I think I'm going to need the laser. And basically what it was for was to kind of just help alleviate a little bit of my pain, so that my husband was able to adjust and align it afterwards, so it could heal a little bit better. But the great thing about the class 4 laser is that it's safe to use, even in a lot of times something that might not be, like, for example, if someone has like a pacemaker, or someone has that class 4 laser can be safe on different areas as well. So and that could be used either on the shoulder, on the back, on the knees, on a lot of different joints. So it's and again, for a lot of the younger kids, it's other than feeling a little bit of warmth, you don't have any pain associated with it. So they're like, okay, it's not too scary. I like it, and it's very effective as well. Now, the microcurrent is, we have 2 of them. One is called an AccuScope, and the other one is called a MyoPulse. And the AccuScope is a little bit more for pain control, and the MyoPulse is more for muscle, just kind of retrain the muscles, allow them to heal a little bit. And again, in addition to chiropractic care, it's great to sometimes have these modalities to help just hopefully speed up recovery and allow the tissue areas to heal a little bit better. And again, microcurrent, what's great about actually the microcurrent is that we can actually use that on some pregnant moms. So if they have a lot of low back pain, that alone with the chiropractic care and with the adjustments and alignments, they're not getting the results that they would love, we can add that as well safely. So that's really neat about the microcurrent they can use. Now with the dry needling, that is really unique. So dry needling in our office is done very, very gently. So unlike traditional, I guess, acupuncture, it is very superficial acupuncture, if you want to call it that way. So basically, it's just pulling a little bit of the skin and tapping the needle right onto the skin, and it's mainly used for pain control. And that works so amazing. Actually, I've had dry needling done on my shoulder again, but also I clench my teeth and grind sometimes, and that works amazingly on TMJ, on the jaw. and we've seen really, really great results. I don't always use the dry needling in my office as much as my husband does, but we sometimes, what we'll do is I'll see, the mom or the child, and then my husband will go ahead and work on the dry needling. So it's kind of a nice like partnership that we have as well. But all those modalities together, it's just really nice to have that available to our patients, because again, we feel like, God created our bodies so that we're able to heal as naturally as we can once we restore the alignment and motion and calm down the nervous system and allow our bodies to heal. But sometimes we need a little bit of help as well. And that's when the class 4 laser or the microcurrent or the dry needling can be so beneficial in helping our patients obtain that optimal wellness or that recovery from an injury. So we're really grateful and blessed that we can have that in our office to help people as well.
That is so awesome. So, the other thing that I heard you say a couple times, and we've mentioned before, is that you do this in your office with your husband. And so, it's so interesting to see how you all work together, not just as professionals, but working on families together and managing your family. So, can you share with our audience, because we have so many entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, moms, and women that are moving forward in ministry, but often wonder about that balance. Like, how is that going to work using their professional skills in the marketplace? And then you not only have the layer of using your professional skills in the marketplace, but then also managing your marriage in the marketplace. So, how do you work with all of those layers and areas as a mom, a wife, and a professional moving forward in your ministry?
Wow, Dr. Tomesha, that is a great question. I think when we originally started our practice, some of my friends literally said to me, "Are you crazy? You're to work with your husband?" But for us, it has been the most amazing blessing to us. We get to share our lives not only, as you said, as husband and wife, but as a family, but also together as chiropractic physicians. So it's been so amazing. We have a little bit of different personalities, as you got to know us. We're a little different, but thank the Lord that we are different so that we can share our passions together. But our ultimate goal is to help people. And we've been so blessed with being able to do that. And we met the first day of chiropractic school way back in 1997, and we were friends. And then after graduation, we became more than friends, and we decided that we lived in Chicago, or the greater Chicago area, for a little while, but we knew that we wanted to share our lives together, and we wanted to move closer to home, and that's what brought us to the greater Cleveland area. And when we first, built our office, there were a lot of adversities. Construction is never always complete at the right time. There's always some, electrical issues, or the plumbing isn't right in your office. And but together, I feel like through our faith and through our love for each other in our marriage, that we got through everything professionally and as a couple. So later on, we practiced for about 10 years until we had children. And it was so amazing that we had this practice together, because and as a family practice, our patients totally understood that we would tell them, well, we really don't know when we're going to have the baby, but our staff will call you, and we might have to take a couple days off, or I might have to take a little bit longer than that, but my husband will be back to care for you. So it was so great that we were able to just kind of balance and work through that together as a couple. Our children are now 10 and 7, and they have been brought up in this. We've been so blessed to bring them up together in our, office. A lot of times when they have days off, they're just at our office in the back room, or they'll say hi to our patients, or a lot of times they're like, we want to be adjusted too. So it's just been such a blessing.
That's awesome. Wow. So what you're saying really is that God has aligned you two together. That's what hear you say. That's what I heard anyway.
Yes.
Oh, that's so incredible. So speaking of family, you have a great story about your family and how you kind of migrated from one side of the world to another before you even met your husband, right? And got to Ohio. Tell us about what it was like coming from Canada and then to the US and how that adjustment was for you all.
Thanks so much for asking that, Dr. Anita. I'm going to backtrack even a little bit before that. So my parents are immigrants from China. So it goes, I guess, how it all started is, and it's a pretty incredible story. And I have to write this down. I always, whenever I talk about it, I'm like, I have to write this down for my kids. But my great uncle was recruited, I guess, from Canada, from China. He was living in China to work on the Canadian railroad systems in the late 1800s. And once he completed his work, he was allowed to bring his wife over, which was my great aunt. And then he also was able to bring 2 dependents. And since they only had one son, they brought my dad, their nephew. So that's how the story began. But in 1973, when my dad immigrated from China to Canada, he had to stay in Honduras for a couple of years. I forget exactly the reasoning, but it was just part of how the immigration system worked back then. And one of the most amazing things that my dad told me was that in Honduras, he had met also some immigrants from China that were heading to the same city of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And they had mentioned that they had found this amazing church and this amazing ministry of Chinese immigrants who who would go to Windsor, Ontario, and basically this ministry there, the pastor was trying to help everyone get comfortable, get used to the language, because my dad really knew no English and really had no money when he got to Canada. So and through that church, I grew up with that church. It's been amazing that our Pastor Chan, had pretty much helped so many immigrants from China and helped them just to get comfortable in a new country with the language and also find jobs. And without finding, I feel like prior to that, my dad never had any experience with Christianity, let alone knew anything about Jesus Christ. So it was pretty amazing that through friends and through immigration, he learned about the Lord, and that has really been a part of me and part of my faith throughout, my whole life. My dad became the deacon, one of the deacons and the elders, and he also was the treasurer of our church until our church pretty much it kind of disassembled a little bit as all the people got older, but still, the ministry has been such an impactful part of my life. So it's been pretty amazing. And I feel like without that ministry and without our church, I don't think I would be right here talking to you ladies today. Wow. I feel like, as I said, my parents were working class immigrants, and coming from communist China, they were never, especially nowadays, but even back then, they would have never had the chance to learn about the Lord. And it's just amazing to think that we're able to freely, learn about God and his amazing things, and we're able to read a Bible. So throughout my life and my career, my parents really instilled in me that, no matter what, as long as we believe, and anything is possible. And one of my favorite verses I wanted to share with you is Mark 9:23, and it says, "All things are possible to those who believe." And I really have used that throughout my whole life, because I think about my dad and my mom and how they were able to just even survive and be in a new country without, knowing the language or knowing or having, family other than, the great aunt, their aunt and uncle and my great aunt and uncle. But they really had a lot of adversity to come, to get through, but they had the faith to do it because God is great and he was able to help us through everything.
Amen. Yes, God is so great. I love that verse, Mark 9:23. Amen. With God, all things really are possible. And he uses hands like yours, right, to make certain things possible for other people as well. And I'm just so grateful that when we do give our lives to the Lord, that we are able to be his instruments of healing for so many other people, no matter where we've come from, no matter what we've done or what our parents have accomplished or where we are in life. Once we have that relationship with Christ, it does make a difference in your mission of your life and in your ministry and how you walk out what he has designed you to do and what he's designed you to be. So I thank you, Dr. Yan, so much for joining us on the show today. I'm very, very excited about what's going to happen in the future with you and with your company. Do you foresee that like your kids will kind of take up from where you guys have begun this company and will continue the family ministry of chiropractic, or do you think maybe not?
I really, really hope so. I tell them every day that whatever the Lord, helps them, do in life, we would be happy with. But I really would love for one of them to really take on our profession and just keep our chiropractic office and promote that in the future. Just promote a healthier lifestyle, but also have the faith in themselves to do what they can do and become what they can become. So that I would love that, but sure.
Yeah, we'll see. You know how
We'll
kids
see,
are.
exactly.
One day they want to be a firefighter, or the next day a chiropractor, and then they want to be a chef. Who knows?
Exactly. Wherever the Lord leads them.
Amen.
Mhm.
Yes. And it really makes me think about how we always encourage you guys to make sure that you are following the Lord and what he leads you to do, whatever the ministry is. I love how, Dr. Yan, you talked about the minister that interjected into your life what ended up being a shift for the legacy of your family and introducing Christ to you, right? And then allowing you then to now be able to foster and share the love of Christ as you are in the marketplace, right? And just walking out what talent God has placed in your life. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. So you all know, we want to make sure that you have the tools, the techniques, and the tips that you need in order to be able to also do the same thing in your life. So we have to make sure to share with you about our upcoming conference. So make sure that you all join us here.
You're invited. We want your face in the place. It is time for you to launch your business and or expand it. We are Ministry on Mission, and I am Dr. Tomesha Walker.
And I'm Dr. Anita Mckaney. And right here in the lovely city of Cleveland, Ohio, we will be hosting our very first Launching Leaders Conference. Hey, you, come on in. So what can attendees expect from the inaugural Ministry on Mission conference here in Cleveland?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. What you can get is going to be people that are coming nationally, internationally, that are sharing with us from trademarking to business beginnings to making sure that your digital media is up to date and where you need it to be. Those are just a few of the many things that we have available for you, including funding. Come on now.
Trademarking, LLC, incorporation, all of these things, including social media branding. Listen, you don't want to miss out. You want to be in the room for the Launching Leaders Conference.
Come on. From us here at Ministry on Mission, you have Dr. Tomesha
and Dr. Anita Mckaney.
So we're bringing you the Launching Leaders Conference, and you can get your ticket at ministryonmission.com. Yes, ministryonmission.com today. Go grab your ticket. Oh, if they're not all gone. If there's one there, get your ticket today. We want to see you in the room and have your face in the place October 21st and 22nd so that you can launch and blast off as the amazing entrepreneur that you are. Your business besties are here and ready to see you reach your goal and your business aptitude today.
Don't miss out. Tickets are flying away.
This is where we want to see you. This is the time for you. So make sure that you are taking the steps today to grab your tickets and be able to launch out, as you have seen Dr. Yan do as well. Okay, so I don't want to take any more time away from the information that we get to grab and glean from Dr. Yan. So I'm excited that we've covered the entire continent. We've talked about movement from China to here. I'm excited that we've had the opportunity to even stop over in Honduras and slide all the way up to Canada, then down here into the amazing Cleveland, Ohio area. So I'm excited. Now, before we head out today, Dr. Yan, are there any specific tips or information that you would like to leave with us today? We've gleaned so much, but what are some additional things that you would like to share?
Well, Dr. Tomesha, I think, a couple things. I'll start with just as far as I saw your information on the conference coming up, which I think is amazing. But I want to share with young entrepreneurs, truly believe in yourself. And as we talked about the passage, that do the best, in believing yourself, but also God will believe in you as well. And no matter what it is, whether it's being a chiropractor or, be opening a business or whatever it may be, that is your goal, take the time, do all the work, but work hard, but also believe in yourself, because you can do it. Not everything is possible. So that's one take home tip. But also for anyone who's ever, I guess, interested or never thought to do, to maybe go see a chiropractor when they're pregnant, please, feel free to reach out and see what we can offer and how we can help you not only healing in a natural way, but also hopefully provide you with the best pregnancy and birth possible. I think, again, that definitely a lot of times, I know Dr. Anita mentioned that people are unsure if it's something that would be helpful for them, but please reach out, take a look, and see if it could be something that can help you and your child as well. So,
Yes. So we thank you all so much for joining us here today, for being a part of this episode. Remember to use #MinistryOnMission and share out with us information that you have learned today that has truly resonated with you and that has been something that stuck out for you and helped to propel you into the things that God is calling you to do. We're excited and blessed to be here. We're excited and blessed that you are here as well. So make sure you share this out so that others can join in on the information as well. Don't leave them out. If you care about them, let them know, right? Because you want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to understand that the Lord loves them, that they are called to a purpose and with a mission, and that they can complete the mission that God has placed before them. We encourage you all in this today, and we want to make sure that we also see you in the after show. So make sure that you jump on over and hang out with us in the after show. We'll see you on all social media platforms at Ministry on Mission and live streaming the after show on YouTube. All right, so we will see you all there. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for joining Ministry on Mission TV. On behalf of Drs. Anita Mckaney and Tomesha D. Walker, we invite you to connect in the community and online at Ministry on Mission. Here at Ministry on Mission TV, we equip and encourage women to start their ministry and finish the mission. Remember,
Isaiah 40:3. Prepare on purpose.
Mark 1 and 3. Let's hear your voice.